Hello everybody, peace, and today I'm going to be talking about two keys of the unseen, and these keys I'm talking about, the unseen, are foundational for us to understand how we use the knowledge that most people might not have received and you might have received personally in the form of inspiration, whatever your form of inspiration is that the Creator has revealed to you. And this is specifically from the Creator himself. So these two keys are going to help us to understand how we approach that information and in our understanding of it. And let us begin.
From beautiful seeds to flourishing legacies.
So the first and most important thing to understand is, as Muslims, we try to approach everything from a place of humility, right? So when it comes to inspiration, which is the topic of my book, The Woke Writer, there's so many things that I talk about inspiration here, but the main and most important thing to remember is that nothing can ever be 100% sure if it is not revelation from the Quran, right? If it's not revelation from Allah himself. So for example, you might see someone who has a dream about something and they are so sure about something that's going to happen and something that hasn't happened, and it means this and it means that. But the fact that we can never truly be sure is something that is humbling and something that makes us feel a little bit more grounded and more open to what is about to happen in our lives that we don't know about, right? Because we don't know really what our destiny is. No one really knows when they are going to die. No one really knows how much money that they'll make, even, for example. No one really knows whether they will enter heaven or whether they will enter hell. Nobody knows that, unless of course they are amongst the messengers, peace be upon them, or they have been spoken about openly in the narrations, and that's a form of inspiration that has been given to us as well. These two keys are this. So the first and most important key, and I am actually reading from my book, The Woke Writer, is the first and the most important key to understanding any kind of inspiration. And let me clarify, inspiration is a kind of unseen knowledge that is given to you. It could be something that you work towards, like through spiritual training, or it could be something that's just gifted to you. And specifically, I'm talking about the inspiration from the Creator himself, not from other sources, which can also give you inspiration. I won't go into that rabbit hole on this video, but the point is that the two keys to the unseen when it comes to inspiration is, number one, that the keys to the unseen, they belong to the Creator. They belong to Allah, and Allah chooses who receives that information and when they receive that information, even if that information is given to a messenger, peace be upon him, the final messenger, peace be upon him. And this is what happened when there was someone who approached him and they asked him a question. It's in the chapter of the cave, and they asked him a question and it took a really long time to get an answer, and then the verse that came afterwards, and say inshallah, God willing, right? Because the information, the keys to the unseen belong to our Creator himself, and that's the foundation. That's the first key to understand when it comes to inspiration. So everything that we see is something that is intentional, and it has been chosen by Allah to show us, right? It's been chosen. It's not just being given because you've done something and then it's chosen. It's very intentional, right? So the most well-known and the best of humanity were given this gift, where Allah's prophets, and they were his messengers, we just spoke about that, right? And Allah chose to give them this knowledge. So only the prophets and the messengers received something specific to them, and this is something which is called mu'jiza, right? And these are miracles, and they are from Allah, and that comes in the category of inspiration. And miracles can come in so many ways. Miracles can be in the form of Musa, peace be upon him, when he parted the seas, when his hand was bright white, when there are certain things you just cannot explain, and they came at a time of people around them who were trying to who were very proficient in something, and these messengers came and literally showed them the miracle that they couldn't explain, right? So Jesus, Isa, he was a prophet, a messenger that called to Allah, and he came showing the people the healing, true healing, and he was able to do things that even the doctors were not able to do. And even though that was a society of healing at that time, and he came and he healed people in ways that it couldn't be explained. And the way that's described in the Quran, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, in a verse of the Quran, is always, and Ma'idah means the table, is always in a way that it was with the permission of Allah. That is what the messengers received. They received this thing called mu'jiza, and mu'jiza is a form of miracles. However, humans, like people, everyone else who is not a messenger and who is not a prophet also can receive miracles, but these are not mu'jiza, because the mu'jiza, these miracles that are only given to the prophets and the messengers, peace be upon them, are things which are to show everyone the signs of the Creator, is to call to the Creator himself. Now the other type of inspiration that is given to the people who are not the messengers, and I hope you're following me. If you're not, let me know and I will get back to you. Just pop me an email, all the information under this video. But the people who receive a different kind of inspiration is something which is called karama. I hope I pronounced it properly, but this is something that can be received by anyone who is not a prophet or a messenger. And I've said that I think about 10 times, but it's such an important point. And this is something that you will, most of the time, the people who receive this kind of inspiration are people who do not show the world it, right? They don't sell it. They don't use it to manipulate. They don't use it for transactional benefits. They use it as a sign of coming closer to the Creator. Most of the people who received this kind of inspiration, they will never be known to the majority of us. A few of us might have interacted with them and we've heard from them about the amazing dreams they've had or certain experiences that they've had, but the majority of the world will not be interviewing them on a show like Oprah and just asking them about all of the things that they know and all of the things that they can do. That is never going to be the case, right? So that is for the people, and that is a kind of inspiration that is for the people. But the point of this is that the keys to the unseen belong to the Creator. That's the first key. Number two, the second one is that the key in our hand, the key that is gifted to us, right, of inspiration, of a piece of the unseen, is something that can be used to open the door to good or the door to evil, right? So it could be really used in any way. It's really like a superpower. It's like you might have an experience, you might see something, you can use it to bring people closer to the Creator, or you can use it to take them away. And really, and I'm not talking about in the way that the ego is covering and making you think that you're bringing them to the Creator, but really you're wearing a mask, right? You're pretending to be something that you are not. And I talked about that before, but the idea is that you can use it for good or you can use it for evil. So even when you have received inspiration, even if God has chosen you to have a knowledge of the unseen, and you can be a person who is righteous and you can be a person who is not righteous sometimes in order to receive this information, the key to understanding if it is good or bad, it really is a gift, is how you use it in order to become either a better version of yourself or to use it for the benefit of yourself in a more worldly manner, which harms and could harm other people, and it will definitely harm yourself as well. So I wrote something as well in the book, and it said this. It says, the people who claim these gifts and use them to earn money are not what they say they are, and their sources of information sometimes isn't even from the Creator himself. Most times it's actually from the jinn. Jinn is another kind of creation which exists. It is another creation who has been given the choice of free will. It is a creation made of smokeless fire, and it is in the realm of the unseen. We Muslims believe it. And when the Quran came as a revelation, the angels were put as guards in heaven, and the devils could no longer hear the prophecy that was spoken by the angels, because that is where they get their information from. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, spoke a little bit about the fortune teller, and he spoke about the information, and this is so significant as well because it's related to the two keys, right? The first key is that the Creator holds the keys to the unseen, and he chooses to give it to who he chooses to give it to, right? And those keys to the unseen or could be a door for good, or it could be a door for bad, right? And just there's so many notes that I can put on this, but let's just keep it at them two things for now. I was going to read you the narration about the fortune teller, but the point is that sometimes the information that a fortune teller gives you isn't even from the Creator himself. It's from somewhere else. It's from a different source. It's from the jinn, or that person is just very good at reading people. It could also be that, which is a type of astuteness that I talk about in the book. So this means that if we truly receive inspiration, the inspiration of what we call spiritual astuteness, the inspiration of the unseen, learning something about the unseen or about people, we cannot use these gifts to show off or to manipulate others for personal gain. And if a person does this, it is a sign that they are not trustworthy. Yes, and that is the topic of today, and I go a lot deeper into my book, The Woke Writer, which, by the way, I have a free downloadable for you from a chapter from this book. It is the chapter of surrender, and it's all about letting go. You do not have to be a writer to read this book, but it is definitely very helpful and useful for those of you who want to create something amazing, because it's all about inspiration, and it is very in depth when we talk about inspiration and all the nuances related to that. All the information for that is below this video, and if you think anyone watching this video would really benefit from this information, please do share with them, give us a like, share a comment, and I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, everyone, have a beautiful and blessed day. Peace.